Little review. Week one, we did a little cosmology, just so you get the background of where we are in the universe, how the universe came to be, and becoming a spiritual player in the game of life. So there's two different game boards. There's the flat game board, lowercase g game board, flat game board. That is the mainstream. That's where most people think we're a body and a mind, or a body, mind, and some vague idea of a soul. Really, we are a mind, body, spirit complex, and we're going to go into all the technicalities of what those are and how they work together. So then last week, we did polarity in the universe and polarity in consciousness, the two paths, positive or the right-hand path, negative, the left-hand path. The positive path is when you're activating all of your energy circuits of consciousness, which we're going to talk about tonight, at least up to the fourth circuit, which is right around the heart area. The negative path, or service to self only, that abridges free will, enslaves people, tries to control, influence, power over, domination. I just watched a show when I was sick, not the 24 hours from Sunday at 9 a.m. to Monday at 9 a.m. when I was in the fetal position in severe stomach pain and I had a fever because the gallbladder was going through that issue. But then the next day when I was recovering all Monday, I binge watched season one, and there's only one season, of I think a pretty new show called The Gentleman, which is a British dark comedy that I totally loved. It was hilarious. It was the perfect pace, the characters, the story, everything. It's about a guy who inherits, his dad dies and he inherits this big, huge place in Britain, this big mansion and all these acres, and he becomes, the Lord or the Duke, I guess, the Duke. And anyways, what he didn't realize is that he's also inheriting, there's all these people growing millions and millions of dollars worth of cannabis underground on his land, and he's getting 10%. So this whole comedy, or this whole series, it's maybe 6 to 8 episodes. This is a complete lesson, like a perfect lesson if you watch the whole show on the service to self only path. Almost every character in the whole show is completely driven, totally driven, motivated completely by their self-interest. And they'll screw over other people, they'll lie to other people, they'll con other people. It's just all about amassing the most wealth, material possession, power, status. You can see that in the oligarchy and the elites and everything too. They're more stuck in the body and the intellect, the physical senses. They haven't really activated enough consciousness to start having more awareness of everything. The more you choose, the more you polarize. So think about it like this. On a 24-hour day, during your waking hours, when you can think, say, and do things, so that's how we can polarize, by our thoughts, by our words, by our actions. Now, let's say you make a bunch of really positive choices and you're helping people and you're being kind and loving. You're polarizing positively. That can activate not only higher consciousness and the higher energy centers, but that can bring out seemingly superpowers. The negative path, they block. They're all about not letting it flow up the pipeline that we're going to learn about soon. Blocking, they block their lower energy centers as much as possible. And then they leap from this lower chakra blockage past the fourth universal and unconditional love energy circuit. Then they go straight into the higher centers. So they're just completely without love. They think a lot of themselves, but they look at others like so far beneath, like they need to be controlled, shown what to do. You're too dumb. You're deplorable. So that's the extreme negative path. All right. In life, there's a choice regarding how an individual will love, serve, and relate to the free will of their self and others. Negative seeks to control, only serve themselves, and they bypass love. And the positive seeks not to control things and everyone, but to accept things and everyone, and to love themselves and love everyone, love their enemy even, and serve themselves and others, serve others and themselves. And then there's two parts. So on the positive path, there's the service of being and the service of doing. The service of being is also called the ministry of being. Live and let your light shine. Imagine just living your life authentically you, as loving and peaceful as you can be. And it's about your vibration. It's about the light energy vibration that you're shining out forth. That's the ministry of being. The service of doing, serve and tap into your talents. It's about using your unique soul gifts and your desires, your unique abilities, your the special skills that you came into this incarnational realm preloaded with, so to speak. Life is a game of polarizing consciousness, either positively or negatively. And now you'll learn how to play the game well. So everything we've been learning up until here, for the most part, has been laying the foundation, the groundwork. It's kind of the system, the universe, the cosmos, consciousness, mind, body, spirit. So now we're getting closer and closer to all the actionable things. We've just been getting all the knowledge, building it. From here on out, now you're going to be learning how you can use these things. Player in the game frame. You're a player in the game of life. The next few weeks, you're going to learn how to play it well. Right now, we're going to get into some very esoteric and awesome things. It can be pretty complicated. So if it sounds complicated, don't worry. I've been studying this stuff right here for many, many, many years, and I still don't, have a perfect grasp on it. But here's how to become a spiritual athlete. And you're going to learn in the next few weeks how to toggle up on the game board daily. So, you wake up, you're on the unitary game, or you're on the flat game board. And then as you go about your day, and Renee brought this up earlier. Renee, you had said that you really enjoyed the morning routine tutorial video and the evening routine tutorial video. So I'll give you an example of my morning routine that I'm doing now, which I've probably done, I don't know, since I've been single. So probably the last 2.5 years. Yeah, about 2.5 years. I've been doing this 99% of the mornings or more. So I wake up and I drink water and I get the bird up, or the bird usually wakes me up. The bird usually wakes me up around 7 or 7:30. Get the bird up, get water, make the caffeine drink, listen to music, and I'm just very slow and peaceful. And all I do is I slowly drink my caffeine and I will fill out my planner. And then I'll fill out my journal. So this day designer, I've been using day designers for years now. This has today's schedule, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., today's top 3, and there's like check boxes to do, and there's room for like probably 25 to-dos. There's a quote on the top right, a notes section, which is really big, a tonight section, which is big, and a gratitude section, which is really big. So I do all that. Then I write a half page to a page in this journal. Then I make my bed, brush my teeth, and I pray and I meditate and I pet papaya and I listen to a little bit of positive, empowering things and I read some of that stuff. And then I'll just see what's going on in the world. Then I'll get to work. Part of that morning routine, too, especially filling out this really good planner with all those sections I just told you about, that helps me by doing that every morning it's just so automated, and it helps me to toggle up by putting those prayers in there. I do 4 prayers usually. Then I'm able to toggle up and go, okay, I'm a spiritual player in this game of life, and all I have to focus on is the service of being and the service of doing. Consciousness is the deepest part of the mind. And you need access to that consciousness to play on the game board with a capital G, the unitary game board. Without that consciousness, then you come to the game board every day with faulty/incomplete data. Therefore, decisions like drinking alcohol are much more accessible and much more salient. 7 energy circuits frame. I used to think this stuff was so hokey pokey. I mean, even the words chakra, which I still don't like that word and I usually don't use it. Chakra. I think it's actually pronounced chakra, which comes from the Ayurvedic, maybe 4,000, 5,000, or longer years ago. But the bottom line with this seven energy circuit system is that I have not found any system of psychology to be as helpful for my mental health and for my inner peace and for, just feeling just really having meaning in my life, great mental health, fulfillment, balancing in energies, and just no system of psychology, not even one. And I love psychology. I was going to school for psychology and been studying psychology forever. But the seven energy circuit system, I swear it's way more helpful to me personally. And unlike religious systems, which I also love, I'm not against religion whatsoever. I love religion. Religious systems often anthropomorphize the divine rather than addressing consciousness directly. What I've found is that for people that are more maybe logical or skeptical or rational minded, this kind of stuff with all the different energy dynamics and what you'll see in the next coming slides, it shows you everything laid out. It's non-dogmatic. It's totally neutral. It's really positive. I just wanted to frame this system. Here we're going to discuss mind, consciousness, and perception. Understand and optimize how your mind, body, and spirit work together. The mainstream view, and I touched on this a little before, is that we're a mind with a body, or a body with a mind, or a brain, body, mind. And then some of the mainstream also thinks we're a body, mind, brain, or a body, mind, with some vague idea of soul or spirit. Very vague. Like, yeah. But in this section, you're going to discover how they all work together and also the differences in the characteristics in the different minds. So the deepest portion of mind is consciousness. What is consciousness? The sea of being. If you imagine an ocean, matter of fact, why don't you imagine the earth is all ocean, all ocean. Now imagine it 10 trillion times bigger, all ocean. Now imagine an infinitely bigger ocean. Now imagine you and I are little tiny waves in that ocean. So the sea of being of the creator. Consciousness is much, 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 much deeper than the intellectual mind. Typical mind state might not have consciousness. A lot of people don't have any consciousness in their typical day-to-day lives. A lot of people have a little bit of consciousness in their day-to-day lives, or maybe not in their day-to-day lives, but maybe they'll have a whole stressful work week. They're in their intellectual mind and in their ego and in their physical senses in their body. Then they get to the weekend and they go on vacation. Maybe they go on a week-long spiritual vacation where they're going to like visit a Buddhist temple in Japan or something, for example. Maybe they go for 2 weeks, but the whole 2 weeks they're there, their consciousness is totally activated all day, every day, basically. They're just having the time of their lives. Consciousness dwells within our mind in a non-local, non-physical locus. Where does it intersect? Right here in the heart area, in our energy body at the fourth circuit of consciousness, or the heart chakra. The energy body connects our physical bodies to our eternal spirits, aka our eternal souls. I love that. I love that term, eternal soul. All right, the energy pipeline. Look at this picture. There's a lot of really cool consciousness circuits pictures. Envision your body standing straight, not sitting like I am, but standing straight. Then envision your spine and place over your bones, starting at right there at your tailbone, the bottom of the spine, going up all the way to the top of your head. There's 7 circuits of consciousness that are connected. They're not physical circuits of consciousness, but it's connected to your physical body. Scientists have alleged, they haven't proved, but they've alleged. Who are these? These were, I believe, fringe, F-R-I-N-G-E, fringe scientists collaborating, Russia and United States. They have alleged that the energy body weighs around 20 grams. Your energy body has a significant impact on your daily experience. When you think of fueling your body and even fueling your mind, we usually think about food and vitamins and supplements and minerals and, macronutrients, protein, carbs, fat, plus fiber, micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytochemicals, anti-inflammatories, etc., omega-3s. But the fuel for this energy system is much different. It's much different, way more subtle, and it's literally the infinite love light energy of God or the creator or whatever you want to call it. All right, mind, body, spirit complex. That's another word, or that's another term for a human being. Why is mind first and not body? I've usually seen in the past body, mind, spirit. Well, it's actually a mind, body, spirit because the mind part, they're all complexes and they complex together, but the mind is the dominant part, and the body, your body is the creature of your mind, and your physical feelings are influenced by thoughts and emotions. Mind, quote unquote, mind involves emotions, feelings, intuitions, gut reactions, biases, and that informs our cognition. And if our extended mind is out of power, the physical body won't experience health, no matter how great your diet and your supplementation is, your health protocol. Your emotions, thoughts, intuitions, and inspirations, emotions, thoughts, intuitions, and inspirations are all fueled by those subtle energies. The outward, visible symbol of the Creator's love light comes from the sun, but the inward and invisible nature of this love light, that is the fuel for your 7 energy circuits. This is some crazy stuff right here. Fueling the energy pipeline. This is some complicated stuff. Imagine our sun. It's not out right now. I live in a microclimate area where just 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes east of me, it's usually sunny in May. But since I live so close to the ocean, the coast, we have the more of the microclimate that's not typical of all of San Diego. So we have a condition that we call May gray. The locals call it May gray. Why? Because it's May. It's the middle of May. I'm in Southern California and it's totally gray and gloomy and overcast. So the sun's not out, but I want you to imagine the sun or look at the sun if you can see it. It's 6 p.m. My time, so there's sun somewhere in the world. Now imagine that sun is giving life, delivering life to the plants. Now there's also an inward love light from that same sun, but it doesn't start there. It starts from the creator, logos, sun, from the sun to the core of the earth, from the earth into our energy system. The 7-circuit energy system is also prismatic. Prismatic. So if you put it through a prism, this light, love light, then it's Roy G. Biv. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, all the colors of the rainbow. I don't need the Roy G. Biv to remember it, but if you don't know that order, you can easily remember it by Roy, R-O-Y, and then the middle initial G, and then the last name Biv, B-I-V. Roy G. Biv. The infinite energy originates from the infinite source of consciousness, flows to the logos, sun, planets, core of the earth, then into the pipeline at the first circuit, which is located at the base of your spine. Then it continues, as long as there's no blockages, it'll continue all the way up, seriatim, which means in order, ascending from 1 to 7, and then it shoots out. Right as when Renee and I were chatting before anyone else had come into class, we were talking, as soon as we were getting into this and I was about to, teach this, I felt all that energy starting to go up my spine and it went all the way out. I felt it. And I actually feel that happen a lot nowadays, which is really cool because it feels great. Feels really awesome. This is one of my mentors that died in 2015, I think it was 2015, April 1st, April Fool's Day. Haha, I didn't die, just my body did. See you later. I'm out of this planet. To feed this consciousness, this is a quote by her, Carla Ruckert, to feed this consciousness that is the environment of your spirit or soul, which rests within the energy body and distinguishes it from the physicality of the purely animal world, you need the Creator's love light. And when you block that love light through your tension, worry, and over concern about the details of life, you are, as Lacey J. Dalton puts it, standing knee deep in water and dying of thirst. The intellect is your biocomputer. It's the mind of your physical body. It's not intelligence, because that word implies at least some element of consciousness. But your intellect uses power like a bulldozer, very forceful. You're harnessing your will and using your focusing abilities to push, sort out, arrange all the organization so it makes logical sense. It's a very important resource, the intellectual mind. The mind of the energy body is consciousness. You could also call consciousness the mind of your heart, or the consciousness of spirit, or Christ consciousness, or cosmic consciousness. This consciousness is part of the Unity Gameboard of Life, and its programs are written not using words like the intellectual mind, but using concepts, abstractions, symbols, symbology, archetypes, archetypal mind. People high in consciousness are typically inspired and insightful. The consciousness doesn't wield power the same aggressive way that the intellectual mind does, and its inspirations typically come quietly into the ever-asking heart. Here's a little verses breakdown. Intellect biocomputer solves problems, uses logic, and expects to stick to the close facts of what the senses can ascertain and what the authorities, usually Dr. Fauci and other scientists, tell us is so. To use the intellect, we work our brains by focusing on our will and setting our attention on the chosen subject. The intellect is going to die when your body dies, but luckily your consciousness will not even break a stride. It'll be like, woo, I'm free, mofos. See ya. Consciousness is the fundamental nature of consciousness is that of your soul or your spirit, and insight, intuition, and purified emotions, gnosis, that's like direct knowing, and inspiration are characteristics of consciousness. Just think about Jesus, or his real name was Yeshua. Yeshua, his knowing, his gnosis, he could just look at someone and just know what their name was, know so much about them, heal them. Without consciousness, none of those kinds of things are even, on the menu or even close to it. Consciousness, its power to inspire is limited only by our ability to disconnect our intellects and clear the way for access to this mind of your heart. Consciousness is also the vibration of unconditional love. Oh boy, another cool picture. That guy's heart ray activated. The 7 energy circuits, understanding and optimizing how they work. Here's a quote from Gary Bean. Last week, there was a really cool quote by him too about unpolarized consciousness. This quote's about the energy centers. The energy centers are the 7 rays, centers, or circuits of consciousness that filter and process the love light energy of the one creator that comes through both the south and north poles of the energy system. They have electromagnetic and metaphysical characteristics and intersect with fields of mind, body, and spirit. Each energy center, or ray, or chakra, is a hierarchical aspect of consciousness that vibrates with the unique expressions, understandings, and speeds of rotation. Arranged on a spectrum of true color vibration, the energy centers describe the journey of all life experience from red to violet ray. The energy can be reduced by partial blockage or imbalance of an energy center, or it can be totally stopped by full blockage or lack of activation. All right, so to review, the love light from the creator radiates to the logos. From the logos of our sun radiates to the earth, the core of the earth, and then into our energy system at the first circuit, which is the color red, and it's also called root chakra, center of survival, sexual reproduction, and the fundamental vitality of self. This circuit receives the life-giving energy or the life-giving prana or the life-giving chi or the life-giving intelligent energy from the earth. So it enters there, and now this process is started. From red, it goes up to orange. Second circuit, sacral chakra. This is the center of personal and emotional identity, expression of power on an individual basis, and relationship to yourself and one other person at a time. With any types of, individual mental health problems or addiction problems, almost all the time, there is significant second center blockage or second circuit blockage down there. And there's often also third chakra blockage as well, in addiction and these types of things. This is the solar plexus, center of identity in groups and power relationships in and among groups. Fourth circuit, we've been talking a lot about. That's the green ray, the heart chakra. There's other names for it too. There's the Ayurvedic terms for these centers that are different, which I have not memorized. The heart center is unconditional and universal love, acceptance, non-judgment, and also healing, self-healing, big time. And it's the key to protection and the springboard to intelligent infinity. Fifth circuit's blue, throat chakra. It's all about wisdom, light, honesty, clarity, and inspiration. This is also the first true spiritual ray, and that all transfers are of a nature which has integrated mind, body, and spirit in self-knowing. The sixth circuit is indigo, also known as the third eye chakra. That's the gateway to intelligent infinity, center of faith, of the adept, prayerful intention, and the radiance of being, the work of spirit. Indigo ray, third eye. When people are activated up here, sometimes when I meditate very deeply, I will feel this indigo center of consciousness. I'll feel it like activated and also kind of tingling a little bit when I'm visualizing things. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the time I'm more in the green and blue. I still have a long ways to go. And then seventh circuit is not, it can't be blocked. And it doesn't have any of these other things from bottom to top. It's like survival and sexual reproduction to personality and creativity and then in groups and community. But then when you get to the seventh circuit, it's not like the other ones. What it is, it's your vibratory essence. It's also called the crown chakra, but it's actually the sum. It's like a thermometer. So all these, and so that violet color, each person's seventh circuit or seventh center is going to look a little bit different based on the color of their red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and indigo, based on the polarization, the activation, the crystallization of consciousness in all those centers. Then after your life, after your life is over, or even right now, during your life, although I can't see it, maybe some people can, that looks a certain way. So that's the signature, the energetic signature of self, a thermometer reflecting overall balance of 1 through 6, or an analog of intelligent infinity. In this ray is the spiritual giving and taking from creator to creator. Here's another Gary Bean quote. This one's about energy center blockages. Through distortions in belief, perception, or thought, an entity may literally block a portion or an aspect of the intelligent love light energy moving into and through the energy system at any center or combination of centers in partial or in full. Blockages may occur in the body, mind, and spirit, or in a combination thereof, and may manifest themselves in any number of ways, including in various personality structures, complexes, and personas, mental, physical, and spiritual pain, and ill health. While the opposite of blockage is overstimulation or overactivation, this is also an unbalanced energetic dynamic. Blockage of the energy centers can happen at any moment. The depth or fullness of blockage, depending perhaps on the intensity of the catalyst. Okay, here's where the blockages, this is how you can tell where your blockages are at, because this stuff can be complicated and it can be weird and it can take a while, but I assure you, I 1,000,000,000,000% assure you that if you can get good at keeping these, unblocking these on a daily basis, because, I view it as I vacuum. I guess I don't vacuum every day. What do I do every day? I do a little bit of light cleaning around the house, typically every day. Okay. A little bit of light cleaning, organizing every day. That's what you should do with your energy centers too. A little bit of light. And some days, maybe there's a lot more to clean up. Some days, maybe there's a lot less to clean up. But when you know how to unblock these lower three centers, and then that's all you have to do to get consciousness, love, light, energy all activating in your heart, which is the home of your spirit or your eternal soul, that's a completely different life than the intellect and the physical senses. So it's really important. One thing you should know is that the blockage needs to be cleared in order from the first circuit ascending. Typically, the root cause of blockages is just judging ourselves, judging others, and just overall lack of love. All right, basic energy circuit blockages. First circuit blockage, survival and safety issues. I can't pay my rent. I'm going to get kicked out, or I don't have enough money to eat. That's going to lead to some stoppage down in first circuit. Second circuit blockage. This often demonstrates itself as personal eccentricities or distortions with regard to self-conscious understanding or acceptance of self. Second, I was blocked in second circuit for so long, it was ridiculous. When you have issues when you don't accept yourself, when you don't forgive yourself, when you're hard on yourself, that's your second circuit's blocked. You're not getting any energy past there, or you're getting very little energy past there probably. And that doesn't feel good. I can't remember the last time I didn't have lots of consciousness up here. Can't remember. It's been years, many years. And I'd never want to go back to that old situation. All right, here's a big one. All right, this is big. Third circuit blockage. The third circuit blockage creates the ego, or the unhealthy, the over ego, the hypertrophied or hypertrophied ego, often manifest as distortions toward power manipulation and other social behaviors concerning those close and associated other people. To completely unblock this circuit, you must love all who are in relationship to you, with hope only of their joy, peace, and comfort. So there's just looking, if there was no idea about spirituality, if everyone just thought, if it was like the whole world thought that we were just body, brain, minds, that we weren't spiritual, when our bodies died, that was it. If it was just like that, oh, imagine how crazy that would be. That's third circuit blockage is somebody that's usually really, really in their ego. And remember, the negative path, they're the one, they block all these lower chakras or circuits. They block these, block, 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 block. They skip the heart, skip the heart. So positive path wants it all flowing, everything flowing, accept all the energy, let it flow up and out. Negative path, block, block, separation, judgment, anger, domination over people. That blocks all those. But they're able to skip over the fourth circuit and then get into 6-2. So that's the negative path. Oof. Fourth circuit blockage, if you're blocked here, it may manifest as difficulties expressing love or compassion. Fifth circuit blockage, that could lead to issues with yourself, having difficulty understanding, having difficulty communicating, challenges accepting or understanding communications from others. Sixth circuit blockage could result in a lessening of the influx of energy due to manifestations which appear as a sense of unworthiness that struggles to accept the reality of self as creator. The seventh circuit, no blockages are possible. Balanced and unbalanced are meaningless. Remember, that's just a thermometer, an overall readout of your total mind, body, spirit complex vibratory essence. And that has to do with everything that you've thought, said, and done in this incarnation, and also previous incarnations too, actually. Here's a Carla Ruckert quote. Our energy bodies as a whole will stay most clear when we feel relaxed and unworried concerning the issues in our lives. Even if amazing amounts of catalyst are flying by, we are doing well, energetically speaking, if we can stay fearless.